See discussions, stats, and author profiles for this publication at https://www.researchgate.net/publication/344537617. Shiva, Transformation from Common Man to an Exceptional Leader. Article in Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research Times August 2020. Citations 0. Reads 1182. 1 Author Sandeep Patil, SVKM's MIMS University Indore. 5 Publications 0 Citations. See Profile. All content following this page was uploaded by Sandeep Patil on the 8th of October 2020. The user has requested enhancement of the downloaded file. Research article. Shiva, Transformation from Common Man to an Exceptional Leader. Sandeep Patil *1 and Dr. Purawakanungo 2. 1 Assistant Professor, Indore Institute of Pharmacy, Indore, 453,331, MP, India. 2 Associate Professor, Applied Science and Humanities Department, Sage University, Indore. 452,020, MP, India. Email ID, sandeepatil2378@gmail.com. Article received, March 2020. Accepted, July 2020. Abstract. Shiva has been a very mysterious, gullible and charismatic god in Hindu religion. He is considered the destroyer of evil and very well known for his soft-hearted nature. Amish in his novel Immortals of Meluha presented him as a common human being who encounters very strange happening in his life and he suddenly becomes the center of attraction. The present paper tries to explore his qualities like foresightedness, loyalty, team spirit and empathy, which ultimately make him an extraordinary leader who sets an example before everyone. It throws light on his journey from an ordinary tribal leader to the Neelkanth who faces lots of personal and worldly problems, overcomes them and finally destroys them. Keywords: charismatic, religion, foresightedness, empathy, leader, destroyer, evil. Introduction. There has been a constant debate about the existence of any person to whom we know as Shiva or Mahadev, through the history of invasions and enslavement somehow made us believe that he was just an imaginary or mythical character whose existence seems doubtful. This has not been an Indian approach, rather an imposed thought over us, Amish himself says. Over the centuries, no foreigner who came to our land, conqueror, merchant, scholar, ruler, traveler, believed that such a great man could possibly have existed in reality. They assumed that he must have been a mythical god, whose existence was possible only in the realms of human imagination. Unfortunately, this belief became our received wisdom. Amish has portrayed God as human being, common person of flesh and blood like all of us, and because of their noble deeds they have raised to the level of God. Amish has explained his point in portraying Shiva as common person. If you see the Indian theory on gods, there are various concepts, various theories. One of them is the Nirgun Nirakar God, which is the formless, generalized one. You don't even call this God as he, since this God has no gender as well, which is the Paramatma. This is roughly similar to the modern Semitic concept of gods. Then there are the Akar gods, like Lord Vishnu, Lord Shiva and so on, where God has taken a form. And why does God take a form? Because it is difficult for human beings, with Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1679. Our puny imaginations, to conceptualize a formless God. Who do we pray to? For our limited imagination, God has to take a form. Then the third concept is the avatar, which is about God's coming down to earth in human form and living as a human being through the cycle of birth, karma and death. This is like Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, who are avatars of Lord Vishnu. The fourth form is when a man or woman becomes a god or he discovers the God within him, the concept that God exists within every single human being, in fact everything in the world. So for example, Gautama Buddha was clearly a historical man, but if you ask all Buddhists or most Hindus, including me, we will say that Buddha is God. So, the concept of a man becoming a god is not unknown. It's been around for centuries, and I am not doing anything new, frankly. A person who rises beyond the common hurdles of emotions, ego, attachment, wealth, or even of physics becomes a great leader. Lord Shiva, as Amish has mentioned, Shiva, the Mahadev, the god of gods, destroyer of evil, passionate lover, fierce warrior, consummate dancer, charismatic leader. Leadership is a quality than just an opportunity of being born in the family of a king or leader. Whosoever is capable of having foresightness, broad vision, and above all the urge from within to bring the positive change in society or system becomes the leader. Through the novel Immortals of Meluha, Amish has established the standards of leadership. Being a devout Shiva worshipper, Amish has influentially used the myth of Shiva to convey the philosophy and wisdom through the iconic leadership quality of Shiva. It further aptly give details to overcome the problem related to leadership of problem solving and decision making, and of course of taking risks associated with it, and in due course Shiva proved himself the ideal of the mankind. The motto of writing this paper is to outline the journey of a common appearing youth named Shiva, who is shown a young leader of the tribe known as Gunas from Tibet. The paper further shows consistent development in his personality, although, in the very beginning of the novel he has revealed his leadership traits when his tribe received an offer to migrate from their motherland to some strange land which is praised by the foreigner in this way: "Come to our land. It lies beyond the great mountains. Others call it Meluha. I call it heaven. It is the richest and most powerful empire in India." He has been sincerely thinking about the proposal and realized that he would not remain a leader there, and they would have to follow the law of that land. At the same time he also knew the meaningless fights with Pakratis. In fact they were attacked that night also when the foreigners were there, and thankfully they helped, but then too it costed the lives of few soldiers, women and children. Now, Shiva made up his mind and went to his tribesmen to share his thoughts. Practically, this was the first dialogue which gave the hint that Shiva has the potential to be an exceptional leader. He said, "I keep no secrets from you. All of you are aware of the invitation of the foreigners," continued Shiva, pointing to Nandi and the Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1680. Meluhans, they fought shoulder to shoulder with us today. They have earned my trust. I want to go with them to Meluha. But this cannot be my decision alone. You are our chief, Shiva said Bhadra, your decision is our decision. That is the tradition. Not this time, said Shiva, holding out his hand. This will change our lives completely. I believe the change will be for the better. Anything will be better than the pointlessness of the violence we face daily. I have told you what I want to do. But the choice to go or not is yours. Let the gunners speak. This time, I follow you. A true leader is one who never imposes his decisions on his followers, in fact he makes them think as he wants. Gunners left Tibet, and after reaching Srinagar it was Ayavati who noticed first that Shiva is the next Neelkanth. You have come. My lord, you have come. This was the second incident when any common man would have enjoyed the attention. Shiva on the other hand got agitated, and in coming dialogues he didn't like to be addressed as Lord. Nandi, said an exasperated Shiva, how many times must I tell you? My name is Shiva. I am your friend, not your lord. Like all straightforward and candid persons, he can voice his heart directly but politely. When he was talking with the Pundit in Brahma temple, you guessed right, I don't believe in symbolic gods, I believe that God exists all around us. In the flow of the river, in the rustle of the trees, in the whisper of the winds. He speaks to us all the time. All we need to do is listen. However, I apologize if I have caused some offense by not being respectful toward your God. He said that he doesn't believe in idol worship of God. In his point of view, God is everywhere and in all the forms of nature. This shows that his openness and broad vision an essential merit of a leader. A person who has to be a leader must be well acquainted to all the humanly emotions. Then only he can justify himself and his position. Shiva is a perfect embodiment of all human emotions, who has got the power to be divine. As it has been Indian history, all the gods practically walked upon this geography and by their deed raised to the level which we call God. Shiva has been an iconoclast. He does not believe in something because it is rule. To him, it should be baked by solid logic. When he came to know about the Vaikarma law of Meluha, he reacted with utter disgust because he does not feel convinced that a person's previous birth sin can cause him any problem in this life. Since it cannot be justified, he does not believe in it. Shiva has been a very pragmatic person and never ever believed in superstitions. That sounds pretty ridiculous to me. A woman could have given birth to a still-born child simply because she did not take proper care while she was pregnant. Or it could just be a disease. How can anyone say that she is being punished for the sins of her previous birth? Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1681. Similarly, he also felt pain of those mothers who are to leave their children in Maker. Although, he was clearly convinced with sheer brilliance of the Maker system, but on the other hand, he did realize how a mother might feel at that moment. While talking about Varna system, he noticed that equal opportunity is provided to all the four Varna's children then. Only he felt convinced with it. This shows how justice governs his entire personality and he can never appreciate anything which is not just. Then the lower castes must have loved Lord Ram for this, asked Shiva. He gave them an actual chance to succeed. But I guess Not too many mothers would have been happy with this. I can't imagine a woman willingly giving up her child as soon as he is born with no chance of meeting him ever again. While discussing with Daksha about Maker system, Shiva shows glimpses of genius. Being. He has got very deep thought process about every single aspect, whether it is related to people, ethics, war or matters of social and state welfare. Shiva in conversation with Daksha speaks, I don't believe that perfection can ever be achieved. It is more of a journey than a destination. But your society is certainly a near-perfect society. He is not one of those persons who just enjoys any attention. He himself raised doubts about Neelkanth and Meluhan's belief or say superstitions about it. Many a times in novels, he asks, why is a Neelkanth required? Shiva has been a fearsome warrior, yet he is wise enough to know the consequences of every war and benefits of avoiding it as much as possible. He knew that it can never be the solution of any problem, hence it should be averted to the point where it becomes a compulsion. While talking to Parvati, Shiva exclaimed, if I have learnt one thing from the pointless battles of my land, it is that wars should be the last resort. If there is an alternative available, what is the harm in saving some young soldier's life? Surely, a mother would bless us for it. When he came to know the purpose of Daksha or Meluhan's, what they call it, the unfinished task of Lord Ram to conquer Swadweepans and to re-establish a new and better way of life like the Meluhans are leading, as Daksha mentions it, save them from the evil philosophy that infects their soul. Save them from their treacherous rulers. Save them from their sorry, meaningless existence. And we do this by giving them the benefits of the superior Surivanshi way of life. After knowing all this, he flatly but politely put his point forward and tells his partial belief in what Meluhans believe. I don't understand how one man can make a difference. Further, he raised all the possible doubts about his being the genuine Neelkanth. Or he has all those powers which Meluhans believe he has got. He doesn't make any promise that he would accomplish the task which is almost imposed upon him. He then commands, Daksha, you still need immigrants to expand your population. But you should not mislead them. Like it was done in their case, shows his explicit sense of justice in general and for everyone. In their conversation, Shiva suggests that his identity should not be declared in public now, and before this he wants to roam around the whole country so that he can understand their way of life and complete culture. Your Highness, I have a terrible feeling that when people know I am the Neelkanth, every action and word of mine will be over-interpreted and over-analyzed. Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1682. At the end of the dialogue with Daksha, Shiva, like a throughout gentleman, candidly admits of being a very ordinary man who incidentally has the blue throat. This shows the actual character of Shiva, who doesn't just grab the opportunity of being the lord of them. Rather, he took it as a sincere challenge to be a help of the people of the land. He says to Daksha, I am a simple tribal man who just happened to acquire a blue throat because of some exotic medicine. Honestly, I still don't know what one man like me can do in the face of the odds that you face. Although he didn't believe in the legend of Neelkanth, which he has repeatedly mentioned in the novel and questioned about it, but when it comes to encourage and make the people confident, he used the same legend's power to do so. He, being a true visionary, can easily realize that it's the human sentiments which are, if properly provoked, can do wonders. He himself was fearless and wanted the fellow Meluhans to be the same. A true leader is one who understands the pulse of his followers so that he can motivate us and when the situations demands. In case of Shiva, he has proved himself a complete and competent leader in the novel who empathizes with his followers exactly as it is required. In the Battle of Kunj, he proved it by revealing his actual identity to everyone to boost their morale. He says, "I am going to fight these terrorists. I am going to show them that we are not sacred anymore. I am going to make them feel the pain we feel. I am going to let them know that Meluha is not going to roll over and let them do what they want. Who's coming with me?" Like a true friend, Shiva has always been there for his friends in need if he has considered someone his friend. Brahaspati was very dear to him and he called him the brother he never had. When Shiva came to know about his death and later realized that he was murdered by a Naga, he went into a deep mourning and was in so much of despair that he didn't even talk to Sati. He swore that he would kill that Naga who had murdered his very dear friend and would go to any extent for that. He said, "I will avenge you, my brother. Even if it is the last thing I do. Even if I have to spend every moment of the rest of my life doing so. Even if I have to come back to this world again and again. I will avenge you." He is one of those persons who believes in doing what he finds logical and significant. He allowed Drapaku to form his Vikarma brigade, although he was fully aware of the fact that the Meluhans are not very comfortable with them, but as it was the need of the hour and second, he realized like a visionary that it is a nonsense not to allow a person because of a stupid law. He is a brilliant leader who is capable of infusing the feeling of great devotion and fire up the patriotism. He said to Drapaku, "I would like it if you killed 4 Meluha. Raise your brigade, we will call it the Vikarma brigade. It is not that somebody who is born in a noble family or just in case a person like Shiva who is incidentally becomes Neelkanth got the respect and honor from people, one has to earn it and sustain as well. Shiva, if judged or observed from any perspective or from any angle, has proved himself an ideal of human being. When he came to know about Sati is pregnant, he told to Sati that they would keep their child's name on Sati's best friend's name. Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1683. Kritika. This gesture shows that how deeply Shiva is touched by every single emotion possible to a human being. That is why he is very aptly called Mahadev. He has excelled as a human being and gone beyond. He said, "We will name our daughter after the one who has been the greatest comfort to you in the last 2 months, while I have been of no help. We will name her Kritika. This is not about my revenge, Your Highness. It is about the vengeance of Meluha. It would be petty of me to think that an entire war is being fought just for me. This is war between good and evil. A battle in which one has to choose a side and fight. There are no bystanders in a Dharmoid. It is a holy war," said Shiva, while talking about him taking part in the war. The reader with Parvat's Hor feels proud of Neelkanth that he doesn't want To be just a beholder, a true leader doesn't lead by example but by himself as an example to follow. Because of this attitude of Shiva throughout the novel, he is respected, loved, admired, and followed by everyone who comes in contact with him, right from Sati, Parvati's whore, Ayavati, Nandi to his opponents as well. He further says, if they are willing to shed their blood for me, then I must be willing to shed my blood for them. The statement leaves no room in anybody's mind about the mindset, personality and vision of Shiva in general, which makes him Mahadev as they aptly call him. Both the armies queued before each other, and like every time, Shiva didn't allow the chance to slip to boost the morale of his fellow warriors and told them, the Mahadev is not born, he becomes Mahadev when he is willing to fight against the evil, and each one is Mahadev while he is doing so, and Shiva is not alone the Mahadev. A man becomes a Mahadev when fights for good. A Mahadev is not born as one from his mother's womb. He is forged in the heat of battle, when he wages a war to destroy evil. After winning the so-called Dharmoid, Shiva was shocked to realize that Swadipans were not actually accompanied by the Nagas to whom they have been considering the guilty, and the attack on Chandravanshis was to annihilate the evil association. Since Shiva has been a man of principles, after the realization he was almost in trauma, and further got completely disturbed after listening to Anandmayi, he will not be from the Sapt. Signed you. Neither a Surivanshi nor a Chandravanshi. But when he comes, he will come on our side. In broken voice, she whispered, you are supposed to be on our side. Shiva was confused like hell, because till now he was assuming that Chandravanshis are evil, but this revelation from Anandmayi tore him from within, and he went through an intense torture. What have I done? If he could have been a common man, he must not have bothered about it, but since his destiny and karma were of superhuman, he was proving himself distinct and quite beyond to what we consider common. Don't call me the Neelkanth, I don't deserve the title. I have the blood of thousands of innocents on my hands, said Shiva to Pandit in Lord Ram's temple as he holds himself the reason behind the deaths of thousands of men, and this guilt made him restless from within. Here, in conversation with Pandit, Shiva realized for the very first time that Neelkanth, Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research, Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1684. Should be an outsider so that he can remain unbiased. The dialogue between them clearly depicts Shiva's actual character. What Pandit said about him further throws light on Shiva as a human being. I know the kind of person you are. It will be a heavy burden. Your challenge is not to suppress the guilt or the pain. You have too good a heart to be able to do that. Conclusion. At the end of the book, Shiva is left with a question: what is evil? Throughout journey of Shiva from Tibet to Meluhar and then Odhaya, finally, his personality gets fairer as the time passes, and he truly justifies being an exceptional leader by his deeds and purity of his heart and character. References: 1. Krishna Kumar, a interviewer, and Tripathia. Interviewee. 2011. Shiva in a New Light. An interview with Amish Tripathi, accessed from http://www.sparkcmagazine.com. 2-JLF 2014, The Immortal, Jaipur Literature Festival. Accessed from https://www.youtube.com/watch?mark v=sign /ks/j_s0_pls/p_ls7pk8_fs echo 3r0b and index equals 25 and t equals 8s. 3 Booker, in 11 lessons from Lord Shiva you can apply to your life. Accessed from https://www.indiatimes.com/culture/who-we-lessons-from-lord-shiva-you can apply to your life 247674.html 4 Pillai L. Kandaka S. Interviewer, and Tripathio. Interviewee. The Man and the Myth. The Young Changemakers Conclave. DNA Shadow Editorial Board. Accessed from https://www.gnandia.com/interview-the-man-and-the-myth-amish-tripathi- 1959602. 5 Sadhguru Who is Shiva? Where Shiva lives? Is Shiva God? Sadhguru latest. Accessed from https://www.youtube.com/watch?mark v=8 t=224s. 6 Tripathi, The Immortals of Meluha. Chennai. Westland Limited, 2010. Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Volume 12, Issue 8, August 2020. ISSN No. 0022-1945. Page No. 1685. View Publication Stats.